Welcome to my office and couch. I think this is the first time for anybody. I think this is the first video that I've done here, hanging out. This is our new Why Not office, and we'll do a tour later. But today I want to talk about, I searched on ChatGPT. If you guys are not on ChatGPT yet and you are a business owner, you are missing out. It is a game changer for your business. So I did a bunch of searches on ChatGPT. Also, I'm on to my third or second one. So, excuse the informality. Top 10 most searched questions about wine. Number 1, what is wine made from? Grapes. There you go. Top 10 most searched questions about starting a wine company or a brand. How to start a wine business. That's a very long answer, but I am now offering one-on-one coaching. I get asked this all of the time, and I literally today just launched my new business. It's called I Am My Boss. There is a free downloadable ebook, which is a book resource. So basically, it's called the Business Owner's Book Bible. And if you love reading and have a business but don't know what book to pick, I've categorized them for you. Literally, you can go, I want help with money mindset, and you go to page 8 and there's 15 of my favorite books. And then there's my top tip as well. So anyway, book resource, and I now do one-on-one coaching, especially for this, because I found that people on YouTube, I haven't really given it a whole lot of my energy because I'm busy building a wine company, obviously. But I have come to realize, especially with these questions, ready? Number 1, how to start a wine business. Number 2, what is the cost of starting a wine company? And that video of mine is by far my number 1 searched video, is how much does it cost to start a wine company? Number 3, how to find investors for a wine business. Number 4, how to develop a wine brand. What are the legal requirements, how to promote. Anyway, there's all these questions about starting a wine business, and I thought I would, just start to help answer them, I guess. But then, anyway, the number 1 question when it comes to wine pouches is the topic suggested to me by ChatGPT was how wine pouches are revolutionizing the wine industry. A video that discusses the benefits of wine pouches, such as convenience, sustainability, and affordability. But I don't want to do that because I feel like that's literally all I do all day long, because coming to the topic of this video, I am going to talk about another thing that people want to know about, which is growing and scaling a business and what we're doing now. Because obviously we're established now. I have had a wine company since 2016. It was always called Why Not the Brand. You can probably still find the cringy video on Kickstarter, which, by the way, you're not allowed to do alcohol on Kickstarter, so there's a helpful hint. Don't even bother. Started Why Not back in 2016, but it was bottles only, and only launched wine pouches in April. So it's now February the following year. So holy shit, it's almost been a year, which is why this video makes sense about scaling. So April, May, June, I spent every day, literally every day, in my office, which was not gorgeous and pink, and there was not a nice pink neon sign, it was an old Pilates studio. And I would come down here every day and I would email 10 different businesses or people in certain industries. So for wine pouches, these have uses in very specific, I suppose, purpose-built industries. And I was thinking festivals and camping and caravanning, boating is a ginormous one. Anyway, there was a whole bunch of different categories that we were going through. So for the first 3 months of launch, I spent those literally emailing anybody that I could find in those industries. And I got 1 ad in a boat magazine for free. Woohoo! It really went fucking nowhere. But it didn't go nowhere, because I have come to realize that when you have a brand new product like wine pouches in this generation, every exposure counts. And that's what I have learned about, business in general. And I have another business where I sell other products, and I've been doing that for 11 years. So if I apply that same logic to this, every exposure counts. Every email counts, every phone call counts, every exposure counts, every time somebody walks past my office counts. I recently looked at my Google data, where people are coming from, and over 50% of people are coming to Wine Not the Brand because of organic search. So that means that they've either seen a wine pouch somewhere and they're searching it. They have a friend who has seen a wine pouch or has a wine pouch and has told them about it, or they've seen some of our content or material in our physical location. So it's not coming from advertising, it's coming from recommendation, referral, organic search, which is fascinating to me, because from this perspective looking out, it seems like nothing is happening, but it really, really is. And it's like, when you're building a brand, it's all about familiarity. It's all about consistency, familiarity. And that's what I'm learning about this, because now that we've done the launch of wine pouches, we had our launch party. It was amazing, so much fun. Now I'm in a different mode. So now I'm in what would be called scale. So if you're a business owner, I highly recommend, or if you want to become a business owner, there's a course called Start and Scale that is by Founder, Foundr, and the framework is absolutely phenomenal. It's really great. And it's actually the reason that I pivoted from bottles to creating wine pouches. As a part of the first questions that they ask when you're looking at creating a brand new product, they talk about shipping and how heavy is it. They talk about the size of it. They talk about fragility, like, is it breakable, is it not? And they talk about, is there a need for it? Like, is it something new and innovative? So wine pouches came about because of this Founder Start and Scale course. I realized that the product that I had, which was bottles in 7.6 kilo cases, was just not smart e-commerce. So figuring out the whole product and making it shippable and absorbing shipping costs and all of the foundational stuff, which I've talked about in other videos, that consumed me for a really long time, a really long time. And I feel it wasn't until our end of year party, which turned into a pouch launch, and I had a dude shirtless sitting on a wine barrel spraying wine pouches on himself, and I had a videographer. Like, I really made it a thing. And I'm really glad I did, because I think I needed that finality. Like, we never had a launch for wine pouches, and I think that was a mistake. I think it would have felt better and probably been more successful to have a physical event where people physically came and they touched and they tried the product. But I didn't have the budget, and it was COVID. It was the middle of, everything was, it wasn't like it is now. So if you can have a party, do it. It's good for your mental health and it's great publicity. But since then, in December, I have felt like, okay, what's next? And I spent a lot of last year direct to consumer, focusing on direct to consumer sales, which is fine, but it's very one-on-one. It's very much like, as soon as the Facebook iOS stuff happened, a whole chapter of ability to market and reach people closed. And with alcohol, it's been really challenging to find where the next open door is. And you will notice, especially if you're looking at wine or alcohol brands, that everyone is now turning to non-alcoholic. And unfortunately for us, I had to pull our non-alcoholic wine pouches off the shelves because they were fermenting and expanding and blowing up. So until I can figure out the science behind that, I am working with my winemaker, but I have a winemaker who makes the wine here. I have other wine suppliers. I have the winemaker that I worked with originally that I trust. He is the only one that I will ask questions from and tell him really where I'm at, because I'm not threatened by him, because he's no longer in the wine industry. He's now doing something else, but has all of that wine knowledge. So to access him and to show him the product has been really, really tricky. And I know it's something to do with the sulfur content and something to do with the chemical balance of the non-alcoholic wine, which changes as it ages. So depending on how old or young that wine is, when I get it, it will react differently in the pouches. And the other thing that I've noticed is that, number one, heat impacts it, which is obvious. But number two, shaking. If somebody's shaking, this is just water, this is a sample. But if someone's shaking these pouches, or it's in a truck, or it's in the bottom of a car, or it's in a van, or it's in a something, that will actually start the process of I don't know, I guess fermentation. I don't know exactly why the shaking changes it, but I've been doing tests in and out of fridges, in and out of shaking with clients, and the non-alcoholic just is not working in wine pouches right now, which is so shit because it's so easy to market that, except if your name is Wine Not, which means that, again, you get shafted in the online world. You can't market on anything. Anyway, rant aside, non-alcoholic stuff aside, problems aside, I will figure it out and I will put non-alcoholic wine back in pouches because everything is switching to non-alcoholic online because selling alcohol is very difficult online now because the world is in a fragile place. So my big plan originally of selling wine directly to consumers online is it's not going to happen. It's just not. Like, I have realized I'm fighting an uphill battle in so many areas. Being a woman in the wine industry is already hard work. I already get this look all of the time. And doing wine pouches, which is also not being done, that's also hard work. And then, like, no, it's just too many challenges. So what I was doing last year is focusing on getting as many businesses on board as possible. Like, what business can I add value to with wine pouches? We had a burger joint that has not paid their bills, which is another whole conversation. Like, how the fuck to actually get paid from businesses that just don't pay you, because I was offering 30-day accounts, which I did because it was going to get me in front of more people and allow businesses to partner with me easier without the funds, like without them having to pay me up front. So I was giving businesses a wholesale discount, which I'm already really not making very much money on until I scale and my costs come down. So it was a long-term strategy. So I was giving them a wholesale discount, which I'm not making money on. Then I was giving them a 30-day account so that they could test and try the product in their venue because I understand it's new. People aren't asking for wine pouches yet. And I was going to give them a chance to have 30 days to sell the product. They make more profit than I do on it, right? So give them 30 days to sell the wine pouches and then pay me from the profit. And then we just repeat the cycle. And all is well in theory, but here's what I found. Number one, sometimes people don't pay their fucking bills, which is wild because we're not talking about thousands of dollars here. Like, we're talking hundreds of dollars. But when you're, I guess, interacting small business to small business, that's where you're at. That's where the expectations are. And it drives me wild because I shouldn't have to chase $300. Like, it is so silly. But the way that I looked at it is that is what I make for having a venue stock my product that all of these other people are now going to get exposure to and see. So the focus on businesses really was more about exposure than it was about making money off those businesses' orders. Because until I hit that tipping point where all of my costs come down, like at the moment I'm paying, this is ridiculous, like don't choke, I'm paying like $4 something per box, per case, per box that I send out. I think it's like $4.20 for the box and the divider. They're custom made, they're custom designed so that these are unbreakable in them no matter how rough the courier is. But it's $4.20. Like, it's a lot of money to spend on a box. But when I get to an order of like 1,000 boxes, that comes down to like $2, which is significant. And then the same thing happens for postage, the same thing happens for wine. Even buying wine in smaller quantities is much, much more expensive. I think I'm paying something like how much am I paying? Gosh. Point is, I'm paying a lot for wine, where if I order in bulk, then that comes right down. So my strategy for scaling has really just been get as many orders through as possible. Don't worry about the profit margin right now. Just get bigger. And then when I get bigger, it'll work itself out because then my costs come down and then I make profit on that margin bit. So that was my sort of thinking with selling into businesses. But then I realized that the businesses who actually sell the product, it's either or in a package. For example, we are in Soak Bathhouse, and as a part of the package that they sell to their consumers, it comes with 2 standard drinks. So somebody can just pick wine. So that it's a fairly easy turnover because there's no sales required. In the burger business that we were partnering with, in the beginning, there was one particular girl who loved pouches. And so whenever people would walk into their restaurant, this chick would be like, oh my God, do you want a wine pouch with that? So they were selling through really quickly because there was somebody on the ground that was really excited about it. But now, like, nothing, like crickets. Not only are they not paying their bills, but no sales because there's nobody in there that's inspired or excited by them, and they're probably dodging us because they don't want to pay their bill. So it's so hit and miss. Like I have a couple of venues like that where there was a little flurry in the beginning where the actual business owner was excited about stocking wine pouches. But as soon as they either step away or a different staff member comes in or the excitement dies down, unless there's somebody there telling people like, these are amazing, oh my God, the price is so good for them, and you know, this is what they're great for, and take them on your picnic. Like unless there's somebody showing them to people, they're not moving. And that's where I went, you know what, fuck it. I'm not gonna sit here chasing, you know, somebody still has merchandise of mine that they're probably never gonna return to me. Like someone's not paid their bill. Like these little transactions are driving me fucking mental. And it's not where I want to go. So this year, I am going big. I am looking at airlines, festivals, cruises, stadiums, like big contracts that are big bulk providers where these can genuinely solve a problem. So I have sent them to a celebrity chef. I haven't heard back yet, but he did say yes to the samples. So I'm hoping that the product speaks for itself. I have had these are amazing, but not right for us from a group who organizes festivals because they're not one standard drink, they're like 2.2. So that's a challenge. I have had well, why aren't they biodegradable from a provider in the Whitsundays because they take them on boats. There's nothing we can do about that. You can't make a product that is biodegradable for liquids. And biodegradable, by the way, simply means it breaks down to tiny, tiny, tiny little particles, which are still toxic for ocean life and for the environment. So unless you're compostable or recyclable, biodegradable really isn't that great when you think about it because it's just tiny little toxins. So anyway, there's still challenges to go, but I figure with those bigger businesses and bigger contracts, I can sell through stock obviously a lot faster. My costs come down a lot faster. I can deal with one client directly and sell like 25,000 units instead of dealing with 15 clients and selling them each 200 units. So I'm changing my perspective on this, and I have to really grow up. I have to, you know, get more comfortable having these conversations with legitimate business people who will ask different questions. So that's where we're at with Why Not? And that's my trajectory for the year, is to scale by looking at more commercial or bigger clients. So if you have any questions, let me know. Again, I have now launched this coaching business. So if that's something that you're interested in, or you want just a 1 hour chat instead of the full 60 days working together, happy to do that as well. But I think I'm going to go back to all of my YouTube videos and turn the comments on now because I feel like I'm in a position to actually really help others now that I've made it this far. There's so many exciting things still happening, but I will share them as they come along. So thanks for watching and cheers. And I hope that whatever venture you are in is very, very successful. See you next time.